Alright, we're starting right now. I believe I fixed the latency settings that were a problem last stream, so that shouldn't be an issue again. Hi guys, I'm Hellstormer, and in case you weren't here for the last stream and don't know the explanation, basically, today we're just gonna be working on, I'm just gonna be working a bit on my ROM hack Warped Worlds. Gonna be doing some work on porting it to decomp, and yeah, I just want to chill. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, earlier today, I ported most of the Peach's bedroom map. Hey, welcome Dustin. Welcome to the stream. In case y'all don't know, he's one of the fantastic guys working with me on Warped Worlds. He's a pretty cool guy, and you should go check out his content. So, I ported most of his map earlier. Basically, all that's left is some material management, so I'm just going to do that right now, and then I'm going to port the final area in this course. So, also in case you don't know, I believe I already talked about this, but you can actually separate, one mesh into several based on their material, which is pretty cool. Figured that out pretty recently, and yeah, it's pretty useful. So I'm gonna disable smooth shading here. Let's see. Collision, I'll just leave it as default. This is the dirt material, I believe. Maybe.
Zoox is giving away tickets to San Francisco's hottest event, Stern Grove Festival.
No.
Leave a comment on our Instagram sharing how you'll Zoox.
So, I don't really know what this material is meant to be. There's a default material? I believe so. Yep, okay, so we can just delete that. Just bloats the triangle count. Go on to the next one. This, I don't want smooth shaded. Collision type. Noise default. I believe this is the checkerboard material. Leave it there. This is the drywall. Leave it as default collision. The wood. I'll disable smooth shading. What is this one? The top of the bed. No smooth shading there. And I'll set the collision to be the same as the carpet. Noise default, same for this. Actually, I'll do that when I get to it. Same for this here. Same for this. What collision type is that? Doesn't really matter. I'll just leave it that way, but without smooth shading. This one's the window. I'll just disable smooth shading, leave it as is. The light texture. I'm gonna set it to keep having smooth shading. And texture 0 properties, intensity alpha 16 bits. And we'll set to ignore collision. And we'll disable lighting. So basically what that does is it makes it so that it's always at full brightness, which light should be. And no, I'm gonna re-enable lighting just so that I can use some custom lighting tricks to make it like a kind of like a golden color. Like a golden light color. We'll copy this hex value, paste it to ambient so that it never changes, and still might be a bit too dark like that, so I'm gonna lighten it up a bit. copy, paste, to red. Hey, Green EG. Same thing as yesterday. I'm just gonna be getting more work done on Warp Worlds. I think that color will look good in game. Maybe I should just make it a bit lighter. I want it to kind of be like where it's almost regular light, but not quite. Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, the problem is, there's not really there's not really a place where I'd like to put pillars because it's kind of already busy with the bookshelf here, and I feel like it looks good the way it is. Into a clove between the windows. Kind of would just want to leave it as is. I could do that in SketchUp, but I kind of feel like just leaving these as is. I might make a change later though. Hi Appy Erasmus 007, same thing as yesterday. So you already know the drill. I know you were here yesterday. Let's disable that. Yeah. Alright, congrats on the birthday, man. By the way, can someone tell me, is the chat latency that bad? Like, how many seconds is it about? I want to know if I actually managed to fix it or not. Alright, 4 seconds is better than 20. I'll take that. Not that bad. Yeah, no, the desk was here before. It's just that the book and the chair wasn't here before, and the pot was in a kind of illogical position, so I basically just polished it up so that it looked like it was an actual desk instead of just a wooden block with a pot on it. So yeah, I like it better with that. For some reason, I'm just a pretty big fan of desks in Mario 64 in general, mostly because, like, it feels like something that should have been in vanilla, yet it wasn't. Alright, I already set up the painting collision earlier, so all I've got to do is set these all to ignore render. Because who wants to see some, like, debug textures or whatever? I don't really know what to call them. Just random color textures I assigned. This is the pot material. I'll leave it as Sewers, nice. That feels more like a, to me it feels more like a B3313 or beta thing than vanilla, but I still like the idea. It just doesn't really seem like there'd be a sewer in vanilla, like, at any point in development, so I don't really consider it to be a vanilla-ish thing, but it's still cool. Alright, so cool little trick I figured out pretty recently is that if you want double-sided faces, you can actually just set it to not cull the backside, which I assumed before that that it was just like they have to force enable this, like, double-sided especially, but apparently it just is double-sided by default, but it's auto-culled, so that's kind of cool. Yep, Peach's bedroom is being changed, and for the better. Sorry buddy, but Keza Manuar kind of already did that in his Return to Yoshi's Island hack. Default material. Do I really need that? No, I don't. You can still do it though. Like, a lot of people have done personalized hacks, and I'm still kind of. I don't really consider it to be much of a personalized hack anymore, just kind of. But I mean, that's what it started out as, so I guess you could count it as that. Alright, we're almost done here. There we go.
We can't tell you that their tequila is 100%.
So, okay, let's, looks like we finished that area. So, I'm gonna move on to the next one. I'm just gonna do a final check first to make sure that everything's set up. Looks that way. Yes. So, let's just hide everything. Still adds. Hide. Oh, we still need to move the objects in, that's right. So, these are all for that area. We'll hide all of them. And hide these. Alright, there we go. That's another area finished. We're almost done with this whole course. Just basically just one area. No, not just basically. There is one area left. Nice. So, let's get started on that. OBJ. No. If you're getting decomp, I would not recommend you, I would not recommend you just go right ahead into making your hack in decomp if you have no prior experience. I'd recommend, like, doing a few, using a few, like doing a few practice runs on a repo and not making that your final one, because if you screw something up, and if it's just a test, then it's fine. But if it's like your full hack and it's screwed up, then it might be hard to fix and like fix everything later. So yeah, just that's my advice to you. Actually, I've used decomp quite a bit, so I think I have like a year of experience with it and exporting and stuff, but I've always preferred using ROM Manager because it's easier. But I think I'm ready to move on now. So this is gonna be area 6. Yes. That's not good. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Okay, I think I know what's wrong there. So yeah, I believe I know what's wrong. We'll go to SketchUp. Swear to God, if all the normals are wrong, then I'm gonna crash out. Actually, I don't think they are. Yeah, I think it's just because, so basically in the SketchUp OBJ exporter, if you just have a specific like plane or part of the model selected, it'll only export that. So you have to like select everything. So I'm gonna do that right now. Actually, if you just don't select anything, then it'll default to exporting everything, which is what you want. So yeah, it was clearly a mistake the first time, but let's see, will it work now? Yep, there we go. That fixed it. So I believe the scale is wrong to begin with. For one, it's too small, so that might be a bit of an issue because I don't really know what scale factor it would be if it's too small. I'm gonna start with the obvious one of 5, which might be it. Possibly. A good way of testing it is to is to create like a door with the proper door dimensions and put it where the door is meant to be, and see if it lines up perfectly. And if it doesn't, then you try rescaling it until you get it right. It's a pretty good method. Please don't use the Be Free one free castle. I beg of you, make an original one. Trust me, you do not want to be known for stealing assets from other people. This strange music is just ambience. I like listening to it while I'm like working because it like helps me chill out and focus more, as opposed to like my standard playlists like rock and stuff. Yeah, you can use, if you want to rip it from, if you want to use like the vanilla one as a base, you can either use my Nemu64 ripping tutorial or just get it from Models Resource, but Models Resource is pretty shitty, so I'd recommend ripping it with Nemu64 with it, like following the method I gave. Alright, so before we do anything, let's see if the dimensions are correct. It's looking like it's not gonna be correct. How's that possible? Okay, that's odd. Snap to face. Okay, yeah, the scale's way too small, but we're just gonna scale the cube properly so that I can base it around that. So it's 0.76 by 0.2 by 2.55. And needs to be flipped by 90 degrees, it appears, so we'll do that. There we go. So right away this scale is really off. It might actually be a scale factor of 10, which is kind of odd, because I've never really encountered something that needs that, but I'll try it. It's looking like that might be it. Maybe. Or at least it gets me close enough to... Nope, looks like that is the actual scale factor. Perfect. Okay. I'll take that. Also, in case y'all haven't heard, the drama between Dimmy Gamer and I is over. He's not ever gonna be back on my dev team. I don't want that, but yeah, we've established peace. I'm gonna leave him alone to work on his own stuff, and he's gonna leave me alone. So, yay, the drama's finally over, kind of. I'm not going to go into too much detail now that peace has been settled, but if you want more details, you can look in my server. Okay, I really can't tell, but it looks like the scale might still be a bit too small. No, too big, actually. So, I'm going to try scaling it down just a little bit. Nope, that's too small now. Yeah, I was also pretty disappointed when Jefftastic canceled the original one. I can understand why he did though, and that's his decision and no one else's. So I'm glad that he canceled it before like it became like too unenjoyable for him. I can understand I understand that he had to deal with like beta kids and stuff. So yeah, I understand why he canceled it, and I respect his decision for that. Besides, if it wasn't for him canceling it, then Newman Network likely wouldn't exist, and that's a really cool project, and if you haven't already, you should check that out. It's really cool. Yeah, Jeff Tastic is a great guy. You should go check out his stuff. It's all pretty similar to Warp Worlds, but his newer stuff is a lot more polished than Warp Worlds was, and that's kind of nice. Oh, I made the scale bigger. Oopsies. Okay, that's my bad. Try to fix that. 9. Let's try 9.8. Custom title screens in Decomp are a lot harder, but there is a tutorial floating around somewhere. Yeah, I remember Black Joystick. Rita is kind of an expert on them, so if you on Black Joystick, so if you're gonna like ask anyone, then you should ask Rita. But from what I've gathered, it seems like they just quit the beta community, and that's it. I can understand why they did that. I was never really a big fan of Black Joystick though. Their stuff always seemed sloppy, like really sloppy. That's the reason why I like Jeff Tastic though, because his stuff, like, unlike a bunch of other like beta tapes at the time, it actually had quality, and it seemed like he actually cared about it, about making like a good series. And yeah, it's another thing I respect about him. He doesn't just do it for reviews, he does it as like a passion, and he like cares about the quality of the end results, and he's not afraid to take as much time as he wants to do so, and I really respect that. Bounds, well, so the dev floor, well, first of all, it already had this ROM, like the decomp, the decomp repo I'm using already has extended bounce enabled, but it doesn't really matter, because if you basically all of it, the out of bounds thing affects is collision, and this is non-solid, and the depth floor, you shouldn't really be able to go past this point at all, so it doesn't really make a difference. Unless someone's intentionally trying to get out of bounds with a wing cap, it shouldn't really happen.
You're just like all the others. You're really not that deep, because you are.
Actually, I think I'm just... This is really annoying. No. I'm gonna move it this way a bit, so that a bit more of this area is in bounds and a bit more of this area is out of bounds, since you're not really supposed to go back here anyways. There we go. That's probably good enough now. Yeah, that's good. So, for object, please. For me, a texture in SketchUp. The thing is, if you rip with Nemu 64, all the vanilla, like the vanilla map will be fully textured to begin with, so the only parts you'll need to texture yourself are going to be the custom parts you make, but apart from that, it's all like prepared and ready to go for you. You will need to adjust like the smooth shading and stuff though, by the way, speaking of which, if you want a smooth shaded edge, then in SketchUp you do control, hold down control, and then use the eraser tool, and as you can see, that's smooth shaded, and hold down shift control if you want to like unsmooth shade it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool technique I've learned along the way. Alright, so school rooftop, why not? This and Snowfall are probably my favorite ambient tracks. They're like the most chill in my opinion in my playlist. Alright, so let's see, that's done. Let's add a cannon. Actually, no, let's set the object properties first. And let's put this after converting materials. Already is converted. Well, to be fair, people would, I think like a lot of people would be justified to think you stole your assets if you actually did steal it from B3313. So that's why I'm saying you should just start with a vanilla one and then Ultra Bats, because no one really gives a fuck if you like steal from vanilla. Let's go to edit mode, separate by material. Alright, so we'll set the material properties later. For now, we're gonna do the objects. So let's see, this should be castle door 0 stars. This should be door warp. I'll check for warp IDs later. That's basically like what I do last. We'll add another empty. And I'm considering removing the mission in this area. But actually, no, I shouldn't do that. It's kind of empty now that I removed the painting back here. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it. I think Nintendo hates modding so much because they just like, they think that their product is superior to everything else, and they're like just desperate to prove it, and plus they probably like getting more money from lawsuits, so. Sorry to break it to you, buddy, but what was it called again? Super Mario 64 Magical Lands. Yeah, that's right. They already added a Toad Town in the castle grounds. Alright, let's see, it's courtyard, area ID 6. Alright. And let's take a look at the object placement. So yeah, I know it's disappointing. I'm gonna start by adding the wing cap over here. Well, actually, I'm gonna do the cannon first. So let's just set this to be it's called a exclamation box. Some metal box, is it? Exclamation box, there it is. Yeah, that's where it was in like it in front of the castle is kind of where it was in what was it called? Magical Lands. So I guess it wouldn't be identical, but yeah, also in Galaxy 1, but it was like, I'm talking about Mario 64 Magical Land. It's another pretty cool ROM hack by a guy named, I believe it was Paper Muriel 46 or whatever. Yeah. B param remains 0 for it to be wing cap. Oh, this is a cannon. Alright, whatever. I'll just rename it to exclamation box. So I guess we'll move it over here. Yeah, it sounds like him. 0. Let's do 0.7. That seems about right. Maybe a bit too big though. So let's do 0.6 maybe. The size doesn't really matter, but I just want to get a good approximation in the visual editor so that it's not just doing it blind. Let's disable snapping. How high does it need to be? About up to a third brick. So I'd say like right here. Yeah, custom bosses are really cool. If you have programming knowledge, you should try doing them. It's a pretty cool interpretation of the lore you got, but sorry to say it's nowhere close to either my interpretation or Jeff Tastic's original plans, but yeah, hi Rod Dweller. I switched my plans. I'm going to be streaming today instead of tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm just going to be taking a break and chilling with my IRL friends, but tonight I'm going to be doing the streaming instead. So I will release a lore document along with the release of version 1.1, but I've never really heard the Soul of a Dead Loved One narrative before. It's kind of a cool idea, but not even close. It's not really meant to have any creepypasta shit. The lore is meant to exist like solely in universe and not be dependent on like anything outside of the game, like the personalization AI and the decom version. That's kind of just meant to be a bonus thing and not really related to anything in universe. So I don't want to make the villain like part of the Nintendo 64 or the code, and I'd rather have it be like an actual entity. Oh, the dialogue from the Meadow Star, that was actually Princess Peach talking because she's trapped inside the castle walls by Bowser, and it's her attempting to communicate with Mario by channeling her remaining star energy. And you can see a similar thing in Delicious Cake. But yeah, version 1.1 will be longer. I'm gonna take my time with it though, so the release date for July 26th might be canceled because I want to take my time to add a bunch of shit and make it good. Let's see. Star for red coins. Yeah, I am gonna take it. I am gonna take the time I need. I should be able to just copy the B params over. So this one's 2. And I'm gonna continue documenting my progress on these live streams though, so you guys can like watch as it gets developed. And kind of wish Jeff had done this so that I could look back on it, but it's nice thinking that like in a few years after all this is finished, I could just look back on it and remember this, like with videos. Yep, the Warped Worlds thumbnail. It's also my wallpaper. But yeah, that's gonna be the thumbnail from now on for all of these development streams. If it ain't broken, then don't fix it. That's what I always say. We're gonna start by snapping the face over. Actually, we don't need to do that. Never mind. I'm gonna move it like right here. It's about at the height of 2 bricks. I'm gonna make it a bit higher. But yeah, that should be good. copy the rest of the objects. So this is kind of useless because basically the only reason that it exists in most of these maps is simply as oh god, how did this UV get screwed up? That's like literally the easiest UV. These are basically just for debug purposes. So basically, if you're using ROM Manager, this is a program called Star Display, where if you load a hack made with ROM Manager, basically you can use this little menu to basically warp to any area in the game as long as it has like a warp to warp to. So since the default is 10, like there's just these Mario Start ones in areas that need testing, and it's kind of a cool idea. Yeah, I should probably get a new video out soon. It's been a while. I guess the live streaming is good enough for you guys, but I'm not sure about the rest of my fan base. Is there meant to be a Bob-omb here? I thought there was. Maybe not. No, there was a Bob-omb in an older version. I think I'm gonna bring back that idea. So, let's start by placing all these objects first, and then I'll check where the Bob-omb was in the older versions, and I'll bring that back. So, let's create another object. I hope Xcoop joins at some point today. He was a nice guy to have on the stream. Canon. Bro, what the fuck is the difference? I don't really have any idea what to do. I'm not sure if it's the cannon base or the cannon lid or the cannon barrel. I have no fucking idea. Hold on, let me check something. Oh yeah, I can just check the Daffodil Meadow map made by Jeff originally, and I can see what the stuff is for that. Sources. Unfortunately, a Flying Fortress Blender file is corrupted. I don't know why, but this one isn't, so I can still use it. Okay, still load materials. Nope, it's too old, so...
Zooks is giving away tickets to San
Basically,
Francisco's hottest event, Stern Grove Festival.
if a
Leave
Fast
a comment on our
64
Instagram
blend-
sharing how you'll
Oh, shut
Zooks
the
for a
fuck
chance to
up.
win. No
if a Fast 64 blend is too old, then basically it's not going to load any of the materials correctly. I don't know why this happens, but it does. Alright, so it's meant to be Canon base. That's the model ID, and Canon as the Oh yeah, I actually haven't. I should probably play some more games on my 2DS soon. I haven't played that in a while. Like, I don't think I ever beat New Super Mario Bros. 2. I did both of the Luigi's Mansion games on there. They were fun, but yeah, I should probably beat New Super Mario Bros. 2 at some point. Okay, so a cannon. We're gonna snap it to this face first. Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna set it to snap to midpoint / edge center. We'll center it. Yeah, New Soup DS was a pretty good one. I feel like after that it just got kind of stale, and they kept like repeating the same shit over and over again without like giving anything new. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so it's pretty far down. I don't think it's supposed to be this far down, so we'll disable snapping for now, and let's just say about here. Yeah, I actually never got a actual copy of New Soup. I've seen videos of it, and I think I've played it on emulator a few times, but I do have I do have a Super Mario 64 DS cartridge, and I remember playing that a bunch on my 2DS, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Still think that I feel like the engine was a lot like worse and like harder to control, and the camera was worse, and yeah, but yeah, I think the reason it was so good was because it was the first of them, and probably the most original. The rest was basically just the same thing with some minor changes and new levels. So, the way I see it is that Nintendo basically just released DLC for the same exact game for like 10 years or something, 10 to like 15 years. This Mario Wonder's kind of like more unique. I still wouldn't say it's that new. But it still is a breath of fresh air in comparison to the older Mario stuff. Coin formations I'll do last. I want to do red coins right now. So, yeah, I'll do that. Wait. Did I ever set this? No. Alright, there we go. Red coin. We'll set the cube size down way down a bunch. So, let's see. I'm not really sure where I'm gonna put the red coins. It looks like it's just in between the cloud and cannon here, so I'm just gonna move it like this, maybe like this, maybe a little bit to the left, up, a bit further down, and yeah, it's basically right in between. Once all the red coins are placed, I'll copy and paste those individual objects, set them to be coin formations with proper B params and stuff, and then I'll re-add the Bob-omb who reactivates the cannon. So it's looking like that's almost all the objects in here. Just red coins. So let's see where we're supposed to go. I'm gonna kind of work around in a circle. It's looking like over here, maybe. Yeah, in between those two clouds. So I hope this means it doesn't shift the sea level. It shouldn't. Okay. Alright, yeah, that's not bad. I'm happy with that position. I'll keep it like that. Let's see, one there. Set it to snap back to face. And we'll put it like right there. So that's the first free done. Oh, Oh shit, did I not set any of these to be red coins? So, looks like I screwed up object settings a lot. Let's see. This is meant to be... red coins. Oh, there's separate objects in this. Alright, so it's gonna be a hidden red coin star, and then I believe I'm supposed to... It's kinda odd that there's separate objects in decomp. Okay, I guess. Red coin star marker, snap that down to a face. There we go. So, and you set all of these to be red coins. Objects combos were a thing in decomp. It's kind of annoying to have to manually select both the model and the behavior. Okay, so
When you've been injured, hiring the right lawyer
oh my god. I believe there's meant to be a red coin right around here. Yep. Alright, that's good. Next up is probably gonna be like right around there. Yep, right there and right there. So this is the 6th red coin. Alright, that's a good height level. I'll take that. And then there's supposed to be another one on this island. So we enable face snapping. Set to midpoint. There we go. So that's the 7th red coin. 8th red coin is probably gonna be like right over. Oh, I'm gonna snap to midpoint for this one. Wherever there is. It's kind of meant to be a bit far up. Not too far up though. So I don't know what this red coin's meant to be right here, but it's looking like I already have 8. Let's count. Okay, so one of them has a duplicate. Yep, so this one I'm going to move over to, let's just say right here. So I'll take care of the coin formations in a sec. Actually, I think I'll just do that now. So this is the coin formation for the first red coin. Actually, I'm gonna move all these meshes into the area root. So this first coin ring is actually, yeah, that one. This first one is gonna be B param 2 is meant to be 19. And I believe it's the same thing for almost all the others. This one's meant to be 2 though, but the rest are 19. Okay. I guess we'll set it to none because I don't really think it's an actual object model. And then coin formation. Sure, I'll test out Dark Runes, I guess. So this. Alright, so that's 4 of them set to 19. Almost. Here we go. After I finish this area, I'm probably gonna end the stream. Oh wait, after I finish this area, the course itself is finished actually. Nice. So, let's make sure all the B params are set. Yes, perfect. So now I gotta copy paste just a bit more. So these don't need coin formations, the cloud ones, but this does, and it's a different type, but still the same thing. It's gonna be horizontal. So still the same object combo, but B param 2 is gonna be 2. And yeah, now that's basically finished. I really plan bringing back the Bob-omb because you can just use the wing cap to get all of these, so I'll just leave the cannon open, I guess. Basically just makes things easier. So now we're gonna move all of our objects into the balcony area route. And it's looking like the object placement is finished for this area. Nice. Is there anything else? Yep, looks like that's basically it. So, all that's left to do is set the warp ID. So, let's go back to Peach's bedroom. Door to Peach's balcony. Let's see, where's that? Okay, so it's warp ID 0, so just yeah, so it'd be 0 to 0. So destination area 5, destination ID 0, and we'll set the door to be 0. There isn't gonna be a balcony painting. Shit, is that? Can you let me know if the stream's still alright? Yeah, it looks like it will be. Alright, so it's looking like we're finished with object placements and B params. Actually, hold on. Does it go over this in the dock? Not sure. Alright, I need to set the success and failure warps so that in case you die, it respawns you. Actually, I'll just do that. I'll do that another day. So all that's left now for today is material management. Yeah, that was because of OBS cutting out. It's fixed now. So we don't want smooth shading on that. Let's see. Density alpha 8-bit. So if you were talking about the delicious cake painting, that's not going to be added since there's already a way to get to delicious cake. And if you're talking about the Twilight Towers painting, that's already been added. So, yeah. Ignore collision. This one we just need to disable smooth shading. Smooth shading. This is the roof. You're not really supposed to get up there, but since people can, I'll leave it with collision. No smooth shading. This is the death floor, so I want to set the collision to be that. But first I'm going to set it to ignore render, and where's the death floor on this? Death plane there. Yeah, in older versions you would be able to down warp from around this spot into the painting because of how the collision's set up. Now, I already have plans for where I'm going to put the Eternal Fort signs. I'm not going to share them, but I've already got that all planned out. It's going to be a nice little hunt since it's going to be hard to find. Of course, I believe most of you already know where one of them is, but the others are going to be harder to find. If this is an IA16 or an RGBA16. I think it's RGBA16. Let's disable smooth shading. We'll leave the rest as default. What is this? Is this a different material? Alright, whatever. Smooth shading off. My god, there's so many duplicate materials. Smooth shading off. That's just a black, isn't it? Yeah. My god, how many duplicate materials are there? Jesus. Kind of frustrating. Actually, I want smooth shading on that. No smooth shading there. No, I do want it to have noise different though.
Your next vacation is waiting in Denver.
Let's see. What types of collision are there? I'll leave it as default. I'm starting to get a bit tired. I think I'm gonna head out soon. Please don't respond to the ad, my guy. The ads themselves are annoying enough. I don't want any more of that annoyance. Is the transparency already set? I think so. Maybe not, but I believe so. This is an ignore collision thing. And this also needs to have callback disabled. Okay, so if that's the front, then that means that I want to reverse the normals. So we'll go to edit mode. Fuck, I'm forgetting how to do that. Is it an edit? Yeah, I believe so. Normals. Flip, there we go. Now if I set to call back, then but okay, that's odd. Am I doing this wrong? I think I'm doing this wrong somehow. It should be as simple as clicking reverse normals and it just does that. It shouldn't need to be all complicated. My god. No, the cloud. Oh wait, a few of the materials aren't. You're right. Wait, why the hell is IA16? Why is the hell is IA8 the default? Hold on. Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh no, RGBA16 is the default. Alright, it's fine then. I'll set the clouds to be. Actually, I don't really think it matters. If it's set it to IA8, then that must mean that it'll work fine. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so I figured out the problem with normal flipping. I didn't have select faces enabled, so yeah. Now if we go into object mode and yep, perfect. Alright, that's good. We'll save that. Now, cloud materials, I'm gonna go back through and make sure all of them are set correctly. I believe they are. These are like the same texture. I don't know why there's so many duplicates of it, but it doesn't really make a difference. That's black. And no, wrong one. I believe that's the last one. Yep. Alright, there. So I guess that means that we're finished for today. I'll probably stream again next week, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice night.